A destructive hurricane in the southeast of the United States in the mountains. Sounds preposterous, but it actually happened. Most of you are already aware of it, but let's talk about the repercussions on RV living. I'm David with RVFamily.life. I have lived full-time in my RV with my family, my wife Tanya, our two girls Kaylin and Kira, and our dog Daisy. I try to keep my puns, jokes, and anything slightly off of base to a minimum, as this is a bit of a very serious topic. This is very current. People are still suffering at this moment. Not just RVers, but everyone in the region. I recently did a video talking about future plans, how I plan a year, sometimes even 2 years out. And one of the things to keep in mind is the various different aspects of weather. There are some larger type situations that can easily be thought about, prepared for. Biggest one would be hurricane season. Hurricane season is 6 months out of the year. Hurricane season runs from June 1st till November 30th. That is a huge amount of time. Typically, hurricane season is going to affect the East Coast for the most part. Although recently we have had a hurricane that ruined Burning Man in Nevada that came from the Pacific. That was a little bit unusual and unexpected. For the most part, a lot of people will assume hurricanes are mainly going to affect Florida, but they can easily affect the coast of Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, and honestly, all the way up to Maine. It's all within the realm of possibilities. These major weather events can be affected by more than just hurricanes, though. We got to experience a whole lot of tornadoes. I don't know that there is necessarily a name for tornado season, but our thoughts have really gone to the fact that North Texas all the way up to North Dakota, just the Midwest in general, probably isn't the best place to be in April and May, and really even into June, because that's when the change of season is happening, and they're just getting pummeled. Granted, in talking to a lot of people, this was an abnormally high season, very busy with tornadoes, and they said that that was a bit unusual. But if you're looking to avoid that sort of thing, which, I mean, generally you are, a tornado will make an absolute mess out of an RV, then you're going to probably want to stay out of that area in the spring. So going to South Dakota for us is something we do to see family. I'm already thinking to the future that I don't want to go there in May. I'll probably go there in September instead. There's the risk of freezing weather coming on, but generally on the east side of South Dakota, it's nowhere near as bad. It can happen on the western side though. The Black Hills of South Dakota, they can start seeing snow in mid-September. Now let's get back to what I started off talking about, and that is a hurricane affecting the mountains of the southeast. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. Huge amount of destruction. Up over 3,000 feet above the ocean level. I don't think anyone expected that kind of a problem from a hurricane. I was watching the tracking of it. I think I was even a little shocked that it got all the way up to a Category 4 because it was riding at a much lower level there for a while. They said that because of where the hurricane made landfall, it doesn't typically make landfall in that general area of Florida. It usually goes further west, where it usually goes and hits kind of the central Florida towards Orlando kind of area. And just watching it, I was noticing that as part of the hurricane is able to touch over to the Atlantic Ocean, it starts just pulling up a whole bunch of that water and then dropping it in the mountains up there, North Carolina, Georgia. And it was absolutely devastating. There was one area that received as much as 35 inches of rain. That is insane. When we were living full-time in Texas in a house, I think it was Memorial Day 2016, there was some crazy rain that came through. There was over 10 people that passed away in the flooding near Wimberley and San Marcos, Texas. That was from 11 inches of rain. It caused the rivers to rise over 40 feet high. I will never forget what I saw. I wasn't even an RVer at the time. Our church was stepping in to help wherever they could, and there was an RV park in San Marcos, Texas that had been devastated. And we went in there and pretty much everything was gone. All the RVs were gone. We were just basically helping them clean up and get to a point where they would be able to provide services once again. We were just helping out in the community. But what blew my mind, this park was 30 feet above, like up the hill from the river. I saw something in the trees off towards my left, and I went walking to see it. And it was a bunch of big fifth wheel RVs in the trees at all kinds of crazy angles. Absolutely blew my mind. I wish that I had had some photos to share with you. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I wanted to know more. Obviously, people were, I think fire marshals and police officers were coming through, pounding on people's doors, telling them to get out immediately. Zero time to hitch up and get out of there. So those RVs were completely totaled. These things were huge. I'm talking 43-foot massive fifth wheels in the trees. Flooding like this can happen fast. It is a very scary thought. Now thinking about that situation is going on in the Southeast right now. There are people that actively, if you're watching this when this video first comes out, I know of people without electricity or any services whatsoever in North Carolina and South Carolina right now. They actively need your help. And I wanted to bring this up to see if there's anything we can do to help. I'm not a fan of some of the bigger organizations that handle things like Red Cross, because a lot of times money that gets donated to them, only about 10% of that money is actual aid that goes to help the people. So I would much rather see people help some organization that is actively doing something on the spot. So I am going to say, let's go and help out Restoration Church. Restoration Church is in Willow Spring, North Carolina. If you've been watching our channel for any length of time, you may remember the names Lindsay and Stuart. They were full-time RVers. They had what I consider to be the best Airstream RV ever. They've kind of settled down and they are now serving coffee to their community. They've set up a little like food truck and doing professional espressos and lattes. Very impressive. I wish I was in North Carolina to try it. They're going to this Restoration Church on a regular basis, and Restoration Church is actively getting out there to the people that need the help, and they are supplying them with, well, okay, that's a bunch of items needed. They're looking to get people water, sports drink powders, flashlights, batteries, paper towels, toilet paper, gloves, medicine, rubber boots. They're looking to actively get pillows, blankets, stuff that is needed to these people. I'm telling you, these people do not have power, running water. They're trapped in a lot of cases. We do have viewers of this channel, Christy and Dan, who are our personal friends, are in this. We are getting active reports from them of what's going on. They've got some things to offer. They've been inviting friends over to get some showers to get cleaned up because they know that a lot of people are affected by this. Thank you, Christy and Dan, for helping out. Anybody that wants to donate and wants to help out, I'm gonna get the link and I'm gonna put it in the top of the description down below. Right now there is a QR code that Lindsay shared out on their Awaken Coffee Plus Culture. I will follow that QR code, get the URL, make it clickable down in the description so that you can go there. Let's see if we can't send some funds to this church to help them buy these things, because they're going to be boots on the ground delivering this stuff to the people that are hurt. So if you're willing to help out, I thank you so much for that. If nothing else, prayers for these people. Prayers that they can find the people that are missing. Prayers that these people can get their lives back on track. This is a tough thing to deal with. Now, if you're living in the RV life full time, obviously you want to be ready and prepared to get out of Dodge. When a hurricane is coming, don't sit there and question whether you should go. Most of the people that were talking in the Facebook forums that are all about RV living were mostly in Florida. They were the ones most concerned. Nobody was thinking about the Smoky Mountains area. Nobody. Have you seen the pictures of Interstate 40 that's washed away between North Carolina and Tennessee? Nobody was expecting that. That one might be a tough call for you to say, we need to get out of this area. I'm a little concerned. I just shared with y'all that I'm planning to do the East Coast next summer. It takes a little bit of faith. I mean, we're headed for Tennessee right now. Right now. I'm a little worried. From what I'm understanding is where we're going is not impacted, but it's closer to that area. It's a scary thought to think about. Anytime you're moving that RV around and you're making your choices about where you stay, you need to take into account these types of things that can happen. Be watching the news. I know I hate saying that. I'm not a fan of the news. But you know, if you're going into an area or through an area that's troubled by some kind of random violence that's going on, or protesters that are going out and blocking the roads, I'm sure we've all seen the images where someone with an RV was trying to get through a city and they were getting destroyed. People were clamoring all over their RV. You want to stay aware, stay alert, try not to get too bogged down into some of the stuff. I mean, it can really stress you out. It stresses me out. But at the same time, you need to know enough to know where you shouldn't be going and when you should pick up and get out. That is what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Tanya knows. I hate watching the news. I like the bliss of being in the mountains with my head stuck in the sand and not knowing about all the troubles. To a certain extent, you can still do that for the most part. But sometimes ignorance can get you killed. So be careful. All right, enough about that. Let's see what we can do to help these people in the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Smoky Mountains, all these people that are hurt and are in harm's way and are still actively in trouble right now. What can we do to help them? So let's click that link down below, see if we can go help the church. If you are aware of another organization that is doing an amazing job of helping them out, let me know. I would say put a link in the comments, but the problem is that YouTube will shut that down. They treat links as spam because it could potentially lead to inappropriate things, so they won't let you do it. Why don't you email me at david@rvfamily.life if you've got any links to organizations that you know you can trust that can get out there and actively help these people in the mountains, and I will then add it to the description for this video. So maybe you don't care for giving money to churches, maybe there's somebody else that's not a religious organization that's helping. Go ahead, get me that link, email me at david@rvfamily.life. Let's see what we can do to help everyone that is hurting, in trouble, and needs help. All right, that is it for here. No funny quips for the end of the video. Let's make the world a better place.